The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video.
Come on, boys, get loud. 'Cause when the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping. It's my scene, my scene. You know what I mean. It's my scene, you know what
Hey y'all, it's Harriyanna and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Harriyanna and welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain. You were not my first mate. I don't got no first mate because you want to know why? I tell everyone a little secret when they come over to this channel. Nobody's worthy of being the first mate, but hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriyanna, and I like to make content based off nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Now, if my voice is like a bit like low in this video, I'm just really tired. Bear with me. I just been working way more than I would like, but everything's gonna be alright. Everything's just gonna pay off in the end. The grind don't stop. Fuck hustle culture. But this is actually my second time recording this because I just was stuttering so much the first time I was speaking, and I just wasn't like, I don't know, like sometimes I will not upload a video if like I'm just kind of not there. But like the title says, I just want to talk about those terrible 4 kids and like deep dubs that just did more harm than good. I have my outline up here on my laptop that is very, very like holding on to dear life. But I just wanted to be comfortable while I make this video, so that's why we're on the couch with it. So the main reason I wanted to make this video is because so many people fail to see the real issue with these terrible dubs beyond just horrible acting choices, because there's a lot there. There's a lot more there. I know we like to get on here and joke and talk about like bad anime acting dub, but I'm like, y'all, there are worse issues when it comes to dubbing. I can deal with bad acting, okay, if everything else is alright, okay? But with these terrible 4 kid Deke, and I know there's like another one, like of those main three that used to make a lot of the anime dubs, like in the 90s and like the early to mid 2000s. These dubs, it's beyond bad acting. It's just, oh God. So I know we all like to joke about how awful those 4 kids in Deke dubs are, and this was kind of me and many other people's introduction to anime. Well, specifically people that live on the Western Hemisphere, specifically Canadians and Americans. These dubs are how a lot of us were able to discover anime. And a lot of our first anime that we ever saw was Pokemon, when Pokemon used to air reruns on Cartoon Network and just Warner Brothers, all right? And as a kid, we didn't really notice that these dubs were terrible until we gotten older and actually watched the real version. And I am somebody that prefers to watch a dub over a sub, okay? I don't like reading when I'm watching TV. I'm gonna be real, y'all. If Squid Game didn't have a dub, I most likely would not have watched it, okay? And I just don't feel like reading when I'm watching TV. I read a lot of books, by the way. I read enough books, and if I wanted to read my anime, I would have gotten a manga. And I do. I read mangas, all right? So I did mention in my Paradise Kiss video, which is almost an hour long, you guys should check out, that what held me off for so long with the anime neighborhood story is because it's so frustrating. The manga was never adapted into English. And the only way for an English speaking person to engage with Neighborhood Story is by watching the anime dub, and not dub, sub, and just reading the subtitles. And that is just kind of why I missed out so much on a good story. So I completely understand why dubs are important and why subs are important and why just having book translations are important just as well. Because, yes, like a lot of people do have difficulty following subs, but then also somebody may also want to engage with that but want to read it in a book form instead, and they don't have the pleasure of doing so. So, as I mentioned, how Neighborhood Story didn't have a dub or it didn't have a English manga translation, it also makes you question if you really want something to have a dub or not. Because when we do see a lot of these things get dubbed, they're dubbed pretty awfully, okay? And that is part of the reason why it has to do with American censorship. You think you're gonna get on here and just talk shit about a lot of current anime voice actors and their work and whatnot. We're not doing that. We're talking about dubs that change so much of the story to the point where they try to make it American, okay? Because so often when it comes to children's like Western animation, they tend to go this the world is in a mess kind of storytelling, and it's as if everything is just peaches and cream, and then when it does hit on issues they don't really go all the way with them. And I noticed that so much when it came to these for kids and geek anime dubs, that when there would be like a serious issue that would be brought up, they would like dance over it and try to act like it is something else. Like, while some of the censorship I don't really mind, because one, anime can be racist, specifically anti-black and just colorist as well. But also, like, anime is just known for like sexualizing the female characters like way more often than they should. And most of the time, it's not necessary whatsoever. Not most of the time. All of the time, it's completely unnecessary. That's why so many people are just put off from the shonen genre, because so much of it has so much fan service in it, and it makes plenty of people, including myself, very uncomfortable. Okay, like, I love Cowboy Bebop, but if I gotta see a pair of titties bounce in front of the camera again, I will scream. Okay. But then there's just like censorship to the point where it changes the entire story. Like Ojama Doremi, you guys know that this is anime that I've been talking about a lot more on my channel. It's just I just kind of been held off from talking about it for so much because, you know, like on YouTube you kind of have to follow like trending topics or what everybody wants to hear and this and then the third. Like, nobody's checking for Ojama Doremi, especially in the 2020s. All right. But I just kind of like stopped caring. I was like, you know what? I want to talk about Ojama Jodorimi. Part of the reason no one knows about it is because nobody talks about it. So Ojama Jodorimi had been out since about like the late 90s, specifically like 1999. But it didn't get attention in America until about like 2008 when I got a dub. And it embarrassed the show. So many people have terrible memories with Ojama Jodorimi because they were introduced to it as Magical Do Re Mi. I was too. It made the show look like an embarrassment. It was complete ass cheeks, okay? And one episode of the show, I think in particular, where I think it just really, really embarrassed the series, and it was a bit disrespectful to a certain point, where there's an episode literally called Hazuki Gets Kidnapped. It's literally called Hazuki Gets Kidnapped. And what bothers me so much about the English dub is that they kept trying to dance around the fact that Hazuki got kidnapped. They literally changed the name of the episode too in America. Hazuki wasn't even her name in the American dub, which we're gonna get on when it comes to the subject of them changing names. But the entire episode was just so fucking frustrating because in the original version, Hazuki was kidnapped by two men that she did not know, and they were comedians, and they were aware of the fact that she came from a wealthy family, and they thought that if they kidnapped her, they could get some money out of her parents. It was like a bit like the ransom of Red Chief. Have any of y'all ever did y'all ever read that story when y'all was in school called The Ransom of Red Chief? But that's what the original version, the original episode for Ojama Jodorimi was. And in the American version, one of her kidnappers was changed to her uncle. The other guy that was with him was just like his friend. And they were picking her up to take her to the museum, but it didn't work out and they weren't able to get there. It was just really stupid. They just dumbed it down completely. Like, Every time I tell people when it comes to Jamajo Doremi, don't watch Magical Doremi. Like, absolutely fucking not. Don't watch that terrible dub. Like, I'm usually somebody that wants, like I said, I would rather watch a dub over a sub. But it just made the show look amazingly stupid, and it went against like almost a lot of what the show stood for. And it got so annoying to the point where they even were changing characters' personality traits. Like, they really should not have dubbed this series in English at all because the 4Kids version of it makes it look amazingly stupid. Like, not only do these dubs like fuck up the storytelling, like I mentioned, because the Hazuki gets kidnapped just honestly like pisses me off because this was an entire episode about uh Hazuki literally like this is a very traumatic experience. She, like I said, she ends up getting in a car with these people she doesn't know. Like, it's a very like heavy scary episode if you actually sit and watch the original version, and it felt a bit like a farce, I'd say, because y'all know how like on TikTok where people will take like a sound, they'll take like a sound from something that is like very like traumatic and sad, and like the person is like in distress. Like, let's say they'll take like a scene from like a TV show where a character is in emotional distress, and then on TikTok they'll play it off for like laughs and giggles and shit like that. That's literally what this episode just felt like. And like I said, it just felt like a big slap in the face to the original team behind this series, especially the writers, because that was never the intent with this episode, and they always did shit like that. And another thing with Ojama Jodorami just as well, I'm gonna move on in a minute, but they just cut out so much stuff. Like, the episodes, Ojama Jodorami episodes usually are about 24 minutes long. They would cut out so much to the point where sometimes the episodes will only be like 15 minutes long because they kept trying to like dance around that like that censorship thing they had. But like I said, not only did it just fuck up the storytelling, it also took away the learning aspect that we could get from these dubs just as well. Because I'm pretty sure if you guys aren't unfamiliar, American media airs worldwide, okay? We've already noticed because you know the American film industry was like one of the first big like successful like film industries that kind of just like changed the planet and everything like that. Like, I know I need to get back into my film classes again in college, but we did learn about Italian art cinema and French cinema and Japanese cinema, and how like American cinema had like a big influence on that. And while those type of films had a big influence on American cinema, but worldwide it's just kind of like the American film industry is kind of like what is present in every single country. So American media is how so many non-Americans are able to learn about the cultures over here, like what we eat, what we drink, like what we do for fun, and like the way we speak, like the kind of slang and all of that jazz. And these dubs changed so much to make the story as American and white as possible. Like, these dubs were treating anime characters like they were white people, when newsflash, like if an anime doesn't make it explicitly clear that their series has like non-Asian people in it, like for example, Little Witch Academia, which is a series about like witch boarding school from with kids from like all over the world. Like, those people are Japanese. They make it clear that that they are in Japan or some city in Japan. I was about to say Tokyo, but they make it clear that they're in a city within the country of Japan, okay? Like, it's just so, they try to make it like as American as possible. And another thing I noticed that they would do is that they would put in like American like slang. It's annoying. But one other thing that they would do with these American dubs is that the money in the scenes would be changed from yen, because yen is Japanese currency, and it would be changed to American dollars. And instead of saying yen, they will say dollars, and then they'll change all the names around to make them sound more American. But they're really trying to make the names more white. Like, one thing about these anime dubs is that they're trying to make them as white as possible when that's literally not it. Like, the culture over there is just so different than it is here. And not even just here, the culture. in Japan is so different than it is in Europe just as well. Like one thing about the name situation just takes me out because there was one girl in No Jamajo Doremi. Her name's Aiko. Why in the English dub her name is Mirabelle? What you mean that girl name is Mirabelle? That girl name is Aiko, and it's another change that I thought was like completely unnecessary in the American dub of Jamajo Doremi is that Pop is the little sister of Doremi in the show. Pop's name was changed to Caitlin. Like, Pop is literally one of the easiest names in this entire series to pronounce. And y'all couldn't even keep that. Like, it's just stupid shit like that. And another thing that bothered me is that if there was writing somewhere in the scene where it's obvious that it's in another language, specifically Japanese, 4 kids would literally like erase the Japanese writing and either leave it blank or just replace it with like scribble scrabble. And that is borderline disrespectful. Like if a character is talking about like Japanese traditions, the dialogue is completely changed. If the characters are talking about Japanese food, it's changed to them talking about American food, okay? Like everyone knows that damn scene from Pokemon where Brock is over here talking about, I have a jelly donut when it's obvious it's a fucking rice ball. Like, and then oftentimes they'll do some like re-editing of like food in the scene and whatnot. Because I remember when Doraemon, one funny thing I will tell you when it comes to Doraemon, Doraemon is what it is over in Japan. It is like nothing over here. People in this country do not be checking for Doraemon unless you are at an anime convention. You will barely find Doraemon shit anywhere, okay? I didn't even know what Doraemon was until the show aired on Disney XD that summer when I was about like 16 years old, I think. But I remember when I was watching it, instead of like the characters using chopsticks, they were using forks. And I was like, did they change that specifically for this dub, or did the original have them using forks? No, it was changed. Like, the reason this is frustrating is because it's important to learn about different cultures, and the way many of us are able to learn about the world is by the material that we watch that are made in other places that aren't our native country. Like seriously, if I hadn't taken like French for 3 years before Miraculous Ladybug came out, I probably would have learned a lot about France, but I didn't because the show was kind of basically the show, honest, like what Miraculous Ladybug tries to teach you about France, you will learn that in a basic French class, okay? But that's a good thing. That's not bad because there are a lot of people that watch Miraculous Ladybug and are unaware of like French culture and just France and Paris. Like there's so many people that were unfamiliar with that and they were able to learn things about France because of this show and they were able to further their research on it. Like that's a good thing because I know plenty of people were talking about how them getting into anime was how they were able to learn about what the culture over is like in Japan. And I remember when I was really interested in like that era when I was really into the Fresh TV cartoons like 16 and Total Drama and 16 Total Drama, what's the other one? Stoke. I learned a lot about Canada. Like I learned like what their currency looked like and what they called it and I learned that they call the bathroom a washroom because I would be so confused when I would watch 16 and they would say like washroom. And then you learn about their different holidays that they have over there and how they do have similar holidays over here, but they fall on different dates. Like it was very I interesting. It's nice to learn about other cultures because like I said, y'all are not American people, we're not the only ones in this world. Like it's important that we know about other people because it kind of feels like a little like entitled how a lot of American people feel like they don't have to learn about other cultures and things like that. And no, it's important to be educated. Please, please, y'all. Like TV can help you so much, okay? Now, the Deke and the 4 Kids dubs, they try to make their stories as Eurocentric as possible, and it's one of the reasons why they aren't really worth watching all that much. Like, if you just want to watch it to like get a good laugh, because y'all, I showed my friends Magical Do Re Mi, they was fucking dying. Like, it was honestly so bad to the point where it was comical, okay? And it was another thing because I've been like looking at the Card Captor Sakura dub, and it's not as bad as Ojamajo Dorami's dub, but it's like a lot of creative decisions that they made in it I didn't like because I didn't like how they were, you know how the show is like like a strong female lead type series, and in the American dub they were trying to make it seem like it was a show about a boy and a girl, but it was more about the boy. Like they were just that's the thing that a lot of American media tends to do because I remember they did this with Witch. Even though Witch is it's an Italian French cartoon, but then also was pretty American as well. And one thing I always couldn't stand about Witch was that they were trying so hard to push Caleb to the front. And I'm just like, this is not Caleb's story. This is the girl's stories. This is Will, Irma, Tarani, Cornelia, and Haylen's story. It's not Caleb's story, okay? But that's what like so many of these 4 kid dubs would do, because that's why so many of the like super duper girly shows didn't really get dubs back then, because it's like so much of American media, like cartoons specifically, were like trying so hard to like cater to like boys. Like I said, they tried to make these stories like as Eurocentric as possible. Like so many people watch anime because they want to see something different. They want to see something different than what they see in their everyday media that is from their country. Like we know America. We know burgers and fries because like every show that we watch has those, okay? We want to see some sushi on the sorry, that thing cut off. But like we don't want no Dan Snyder. Like no, we want to see like authentic, you know, from the country, all of that. Like we watch anime because like the storytelling is so much different from Western animation, and the culture over there is just different. For the most part, because I'm running out of time and I need to hurry up and do this, it's important to have a good media diet. Okay? Don't just consume one kind of media. Like I highly do not recommend people only be a fan of one show and that be the only thing they like. Only like one book series. No, you need to have some diversity when it comes to the things that you're interested in. Okay, it's important to have a good media diet. Don't just consume one type of medium. And if people in other countries are willing to watch American media, y'all should be willing to watch media from other countries just as well. But thank you guys for watching. I gotta hurry up because I'm running out of space on my phone. Links down below for donations. Progenies, my show, Patreon, harriyannahook.com, merch. Follow me on everything at HARIYANNA. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a good night.
'Cause I work hard to get to this point in my life. I'm blowing up, so don't hate, just congratulate.
The Powerpuff Girls will just blow your mind. Buttercup like villains 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a kind. Both wanna save the world before bedtime. From Townsville, Memphis, New York to LA, the Powerpuff Girls are just here to stay.